Hello, I'm Liam the Music Reviewer, and there's not going to be a joke bit today because this new Lil Xan album is pure shite. This is, oh my god, I'm going to be upfront. I've got a script here because I was so overcome with these negative emotions because of this album. It is just honestly the worst thing I've heard this year. I've maybe not listened to every album that's came out this year, but oh my fucking word, this was complete and utter drivel. It was so bad. Lil Xan, if you don't know who he is, lucky for you, he's an American rapper, pretty much more kind of in the cloud rap trap scene. Never really been a genre that I've been that invested in, usually because a lot of the stuff that comes out there is quite vapid, it's quite without any real meaning, reason or rhyme. Young Thug can kind of get thrown in that category, and I do think Young Thug is quite interesting. He's at least trying to do something different. His vocals are intriguing. Little Yachty has a good song here or there, and I guess if you threw a Little Peep in there, I was into his music, that whole emo sound he's going for. So is Little Uzi Vert. I was all in for that. I thought he had a lot of potential, but I had really no real experience with Lil Xan. I only knew him because of something he said about Tupac, which, people can say what they want. It didn't really give me like an overall bad impression of him. Now that I've listened to his music though, Jesus Christ man, you can't slag off iconic music like that and come out with shit like this. Really? Like what? Where do you have like the audacity to do something like this? You are like, he is young. He's literally only like a few weeks younger than me, and I don't really think age. I think if you're young, obviously you probably won't make music as good as somebody who's got a bit more experience than you. There's obviously some prime examples, but really there's like nothing here that gives me any sort of indication that this guy is gonna hit out with anything substantial. The production on here is so standard to the point where it genuinely becomes irritating, where you have your snare, your hi-hats, your dirty bass, and it all comes like I'm literally lost for words right now because it is so repetitive. It is so by the numbers. There is no morsel of originality where I feel like it's being used in any sort of interesting way. It is pretty much every song you've ever heard from cloud rap or anything like that. You will recognise things from this, and it's not even a case of influence or sampling. Like, it genuinely is just the same old shit, just by a different name. It really is quite irritating. I'm not an old head by any means. There's a lot of new hip hop that I do like, but oh my god, Lil Xan, just in terms of production, the people that he's got on board, they just keep echoing the same sentiment, the same sound. There is really no songs where I feel like I can remember what they sound like. I can remember things about it that I disliked about them, but if I've listened to the album 3 or 4 times now and I'm really struggling to remember any sort of melody or any sort of sound because they are so without purpose. And you know what? I kind of foolishly expected this to be a bit bearable. I thought, you know what? Maybe I got this guy wrong, and maybe all the hate that he gets is just kind of, it's all hyperbole, and that this first song, Who I Am, has like a whole kind of lazy delivery that fits in with the lyrical content. It's even like a bit confessional, so I'm like, you know what, maybe he knows what the genre's like, he knows of the pitfalls and whatnot, and maybe he's going to show some sort of like maturity and whatnot, like makes reference to like the pain that drugs have caused, what he's seen, how it doesn't define them. But of course that goes out the fucking window after like, what, 20-30 minutes when Slingshot comes about and he's going like, oh, I like lean, I like drugs. Like, again, I've got no real problem with rappers talking about drugs. There's like a whole sorts of discussions to be had about like institutionalization and all of that. Some of my favourite albums are about drugs. I always bring up Atrocity Exhibition, and that's an album that is so self-aware about it, and really like what people do, that's no problem. I mean, see, when it gets to the point where it defines you, where it's going to generate songs like this which are just kind of copy and paste, they're just so one note, just like you've heard them all. We get it in pop music a lot now, where people will allude to it and I think trap music kind of tries to think that it's being different because it's so transparent, it's just so blunt and in your face about it. But it's not interesting. I don't really care. Like, if you've got an interesting angle, kind of like how Who I Am, I'm like, oh, maybe we're gonna get somebody who's gonna like basically say how he's felt about it. There's literally just Who I Am, and then there's that big hit that came out called Betrayed. But even then, I just feel like the verses on that aren't really getting to me. They're just all about him talking about getting these girls and whatnot. The chorus could have been a bit more bleak, had like this whole dark sentiment, but again, the production on there, it just feels again just so shallow. Like, there's no real depth to it where I'm like, oh, I can feel some sort of emotion being evoked. Not by any means at all. The song Diamonds, as you might expect from the title, is just, yeah, again, pure and utter drivel. Lil Xan saying like how his diamonds are wet on his wrist. That's just like how the girls he's having sex with are wet like the diamonds on his wrist. How he gets money, and then he throws a homophobic slur because apparently to be edgy, to be relevant at all, you have to be homophobic. I'm really am like totally sick of seeing this shit. I don't care if it gets you labelled as an SJW to say, hey, don't say that word, because really it's only just keeping this whole attitude of them being the others, of them being lower than you. Like, oh, fuck you, Lil Xan. Fuck you for making bad music, but fuck you for thinking that this is like you being edgy, like you being different, because it's not. It just makes you look like a fucking idiot. I've seen people talk about this whole Diplo collab as well, Colorblind. I don't see why, because the production really isn't much to keep your attention, if only because it's a bit different from the generic stuff that you have to face through this entire album. I wish Xan could have like faked some enthusiasm on here, because it sounds like there's like solid foundation for like a narrative about relationships where it's a bit one-sided, and that obviously that's been done to death, but it would at least be a little bit kind of refreshing to see that from him. But no, it's just there's no attempt, there's no active effort. It just screams of just like, it feels like factory music at this point. People always complain about chart music being factory music, but honestly, I'd rather listen to like 10 chart songs back to back than listen to even like 15 seconds of anything on here. Honestly, it's so aggravating. There's only one song on here that I would even consider being good, that I would even consider being like the saving grace of this album, and it's Moonlight, that has Charlie XCX on it. And as you probably expect, it's really just because Charlie XCX is on this album. I want to see Charlie XCX do like a hip hop album at this point, because honestly, like the more I was listening to her whole attitude, just, oh god, it made me really want to go and listen to Number One Angel or Pop 2 or something like that. Because Xan just, he gets bet by the fucking instrumental on here, which is him just basically rapping over like a simple acoustic guitar, and they bring in the snare and the bass, and it's just again so by the numbers. The guest appearances on here don't really do much. I really the only one that I can remember other than Charlie XCX where I was like, oh, okay, this is fine, was 2 Chainz. And really it's just because 2 Chainz is a like kind of like a charming, kind of entertaining guy. Yes, he kind of raps about the same things at points, but he's at least got like a funny bone to him. That's what makes his music sort of interesting, whereas everyone else tries to be dead serious or makes lines that just make you absolutely wince. He even takes a dig at Lil Xan on his own song, so I'm like, well, at least somebody's gonna do it on his own album, because I don't know how anyone was collaborating here and not going, really? Have you not got anything better to do with our time just now? Like, it's such a hard album to review. I really don't. I have total respect for anyone like Spectrum Pulse if they give this a full review where they like speak about it very politely and like use all their big fancy words. Because see, right now I'm just like overwhelmed by just this frustration. It's just the worst thing I've heard this year. I would not recommend this to anybody. I do see this being possibly the worst album I will ever hear in 2018. I haven't gave XXX Tentacion a go or 6ix9ine because I knew they were horrible people going right into it. So I will not give them a go. Whereas I came into this thinking, oh, that it could be fine. It could have like a gem or two on it. But Lil Xan is just an uninspired, sterile, unentertaining little bigot who just made me realise that I want a Charlie XCX hip hop project. Just make that happen. Guys, I'm just so fucking drained from this. I was expecting to drop this next week, but I really just had to get my thoughts out here, because no matter if I give this another 2 listens or if I let it like settle a little bit, I will not like this album any more than I already do, and I don't like it at all. I'm gonna give it a decent 2 out of 10. Fuck Lil Xan, fuck this album. Sorry for all the swearing, but it's like I'm gonna get demonetized because I'm not even monetized. But yeah, try and stay positive. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Watch my Death Grips ranked thing. It's a lot more interesting, a lot better worded. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and I'll see you guys soon.